Salute to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our roll call members.
Mayor Moore.
Here.
Trustee Ken Trombley. Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Tom Trombley.
Here.
Trustee Garrett. Here.
And we'll now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting and the budget meeting of March 11th and March 17th.
I'll second.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, at this time we'll have public comment and presentation of petitions. Just a reminder that we will be holding a budget hearing at 7 o'clock, so you will get an opportunity to speak on that at that time. The other thing I just wanted just a reminder that guidelines for public comment, try to limit your talk to 5 minutes or less. This is the only time it should be allowed to speak, or at other such time the majority of the board shall allow, except in this case there will be a budget hearing at 7. Speakers must be recognized by the presiding officers. Speakers must give their name, address, and organization. Board members may, with the permission of the mayor, interrupt the speaker during their remarks, but only for the purpose of clarification of information. All remarks shall be addressed to the board as a body and not any member thereof. Speakers shall observe the commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. Interested parties or representatives may address the board also by written communications, and written communications should be delivered to the clerk treasurer or their designee. At this point, I'll open the floor for any discussion other than the budget.
Boy, that's a pretty controlled outfit with all those rules and regulations. You got two things.
State your name, please.
Orville Road, Village of Champlain, 44 Spruce Street. Spruce Street, how much did it cost to do that renovation last year?
Ian, do you have a ballpark on that?
Don't need a ballpark, you should know what it is by now. It's over a year.
Renovation regarding
That wasn't you.
the asphalt?
That's before you.
That was.
Oh. I don't know the exact dollar amount for that. You're referring to the asphalt, the whole road?
The whole thing.
I'm referring to the renovation of Spruce Street last year, before you got here.
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
Not clear on that big. I'm not clear on exactly what it was. You'd have to look that up. I can get that to you.
and you can send me that in writing, right?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much. Second thing, beautification at 44 Spruce Street. Snow blower went up my street last year. Got over on my side, made some ruts on my side of the sidewalk, and dumped a pile of stuff in a row, mud and grass and stuff, between the sidewalk and my front porch walkway. Does this come under the beautification that you got in the budget to help clean that situation up? The sand from the snowplows I've done for 100 years, and I can understand that. As long as I've lived at that residence, this has never happened. What I'm talking about it right now. You can come over there and look at it. It's still there. So what do? Do I clean it up and send you a bill? You guys going to come over and clean it up or what?
We're going to have people out there fixing things up this year, Bing. That's one of our really big things we want to do this year is improve the streets, the area around the sidewalks, wherever the ground is overgrown or whatever. Yeah, that's going to be our main mission.
It looked great before the snowblower went by.
Yeah, anything that we did over the winter, we're going to come around and fix it. Yeah.
And okay, is there a time element?
Well, as soon as the weather permits. I mean, as soon as all the snow is gone, and we're going to get started on that. But the majority of that will probably happen as soon as we get some extra help in. As it is right now, we're short-handed. We only have 2 people that can go out there and do that, so we're gonna do what we can up front, but hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna get some extra people on to do that.
So that I don't have to worry about touching it.
Well, we can fix it. If we did it, we'll fix it.
You did it.
We'll fix it.
Got pictures of it.
We'll fix it.
Well, I'll let you off easy. I quit.
Good thing you're not the judge
Thanks.
anymore. That was all.
Huh? What's the
I said
matter?
it's a good thing you're not the judge anymore.
You're damn right.
Okay, is there anyone else, a comment? Public comment? Larry?
Larry Thorell, 55 Elm Street. I'd like to know what the village is gonna do about the trucks in front of my place. It's so bad sometimes you can't get through, you have to either turn around or drive halfway through my field to get around. You got 54-foot trailers there with tractors. Do I have to park my horse trailer back on the side of the road again?
Well, I know what you're talking about, Larry. I was coming home from work the other day and I came over that way and this tractor trailer parked right in the middle of the road.
But somebody's parked there and they don't know, I call the pick police.
So I'm not clear exactly on what the parking regulations are there, but, I'm assuming that they can't park in the road like that.
Well, they got the whole road closed right off.
You're right.
The garbage truck had to turn around, go back around the back of Walnut Street today to get through.
I think I would call that in.
Well, I've been calling it in.
Are they coming up in time to ticket them, or are they
No,
not making it in
no,
time?
that's the problem.
Unfortunately,
Do I put my fence back on the side of the road like I did last time to park my tractor there? I'm leaving that up to you to make that decision, but something's gotta be done.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about, Larry, because they block one side of the road and you have to pull out into the other lane to get around them, and it is a traffic hazard. I know there was cars coming the other way.
I mean, you do have a guy at Kimpex that leases out all that property. It should be up to him to make sure his tenants don't do that. If they do that, probably he should get the ticket.
Well, maybe we should send him a letter. Have we sent him a letter before?
years ago we did.
I think Mickey talked to him.
Two years ago,
Yeah.
we went through all this.
Yeah.
They pull right in front of my place. I got things along, they pull in front of my driveway to be all cracked and I got roots 6-7 inches thick where I just leveled off. And they park there, they park across my driveway and they get out and shut their doors.
Who owns that, Larry?
Susie USA owns the building, but Howard Lamberton is the manager. 298-3900.
Sounds like you've called there before.
But what does he say when you call?
What's that?
What does he say when you call?
I went right and told Mary McCracken.
Right?
She takes care of it. She sees all the trucks there. It's gotten to the point they're doing the same thing on East Street.
Uh-huh.
You can't get around.
No.
So I'm just saying that because if there comes some accident or something there this winter, you know, you can't stop on that stuff. Who's gonna be liable for that?
Well, let's try starting with that, with a formal letter to him and see what we get an answer back.
It's dry, so I get my horse trailer out. So I put it there. No problem.
Could we as a village request from police enforcement?
I would imagine we can ask.
We could get a hold of whoever the commander is, right,
Well, we should send a letter to
Okay.
Howard Lamberton first, and then if we don't get any result, we can send a letter, tell them that we're gonna send a letter to,
so we can get more response.
They don't even keep a guy out there. If they jackknife their truck and have one lane open, they should keep a guy out there to direct the traffic. They don't even do that.
I'm pretty sure there's some requirement when you block the road to have either a flag ban
They have
or
to
something,
get
and I'm not up on
Looking
that.
down
Maybe
the left.
Ding could help us out. on
If you
that.
block the road, you do. If you don't, you leave one-way passage, you can load and unload. I've had them when I was a judge.
Yeah.
I
They
don't know why you
leave
don't
one
talk to
way.
Triller.
Yeah, they don't leave
He's
one
not
way.
here, leave him alone. Don't
Huh?
worry if he was
They
here,
don't
he'd be on
leave
it.
even room for
Well, then
one
that's,
car at all.
then you've got a point there. But they can, to load and unload,
Right.
there has to be one-way passage.
But I mean, if they got it blocked.
Only for that time, not that they can be there all day.
Right, no.
Somebody comes down and they look the other way, something's happened and hit a car that's in the road. People gauge, you know. Whose responsibility is that?
That emergency services.
Yeah. Okay, Larry, we'll get started on that.
Thank you.
Are there any other comment?
On public issues?
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Could you just, for everybody, can you
Yep.
state your name and
Chad
address?
Poyer, I own a building, 1141 Main Street.
The roof's looking good.
Yep, that's slow but sure. I do have a couple issues. One of the smaller issues I did talk with Donna about last week is the water bill, and I think that we probably came to a conclusion on that. Larry went down, did an actual read or whatever. So I haven't talked to either, well, I talked to Larry briefly about it, but to see what the outcome was. But the second issue I have is a major sewer issue. Last week, I think it was Thursday, for the third time, I had sewer back up in the basement. And filled, this time it was excessive enough to fill the pipes up to the first floor, and then with the weight of the water in a 4-inch pipe, ripped all the 4-inch drain lines out of the basement. So in a result, there's 2 families living there. I had to replace all the pipes so they could have a usable toilet. Like I said, this is the third time. The first 2 times I did the cleanup and we worked it out. I didn't pursue it too much. This time was really bad. I incurred a large expense. And it was a village issue. The sewer lines were full. I had Woody go down. We pulled the manhole. It was about maybe 18 inches from the top. So I did the cleanup. I replaced the pipes. The building is functional again, but I did incur a great expense. I'd just like to know what the village could do for, number 1, cure the problem, number 2, for my expense.
Well, Chad, we're in the process of investigating that, and within the next week, we should be able to get back to you with
Okay.
what happened and what we might be doing to correct it.
Good. I just wanted to bring
Yeah,
it to
I heard
everybody.
about it last week, and we started looking into it right away.
Good.
So we'll get back to that. Is there some way we can get back in touch with you
Yep.
easily? Or?
Donna has my cell phone number.
Great.
You can just give me a call and we can go from there.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Looks good there.
Well,
Seeing some of those buildings getting fixed.
Yeah, and I enjoy doing it. You know, I like that. And the building's going to look really nice when I'm done. This summer I do plan on siding and finish the new windows, and I really want it to be an eye catcher when you come through downtown. It's a little bit frustrating when something like that happens. But I got a vested interest here. I'd like to make things look decent.
We're behind you on that.
Thank you for that.
Okay, was there anyone else that had a comment before we move forward? Okay, we'll have a report on Mike Tatro codes enforcement.
Unlike Chad, I deal with unsafe buildings and trash buildings. Sent out notices of violation last month. I think I probably reported on it. Most of them have gotten back to me, except 2 of them, which I'm going to issue the final notice of violations and go to court. They have not called me or anything, so I'm not going to. It's the same people all the time. Other than that, I've been doing some inspections with the border and some of the buildings in the village here. They have to do certain inspections for bonded warehouses or whatever, so they ask for my assistance on some of these things, so I've been doing that. Shared services, I've been working with Juanita, getting that up and going. Got it?
Who were the ones you heard back and what were their responses?
Of the people that I sent,
Yeah.
Greg Gililli, the one next to the old dry cleaners, she's cleaning up that stuff there. It's a Papillon building. I talked to him, he hasn't done anything yet, but he intends on doing it.
You got the new owner?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was the third one? There was another one.
Did you hear from LaBarge?
No, he's the one I haven't heard from, or Raybo.
Clyde Ringel?
Yeah, those are the 2 that I didn't hear from. Can't think of who the other guy was.
Denon, Gregory Denon.
Well, he's the one that sold the building to
Sold it.
the Papillon.
Okay.
I think there was 5 of them that sent out notices to.
And Patterson were,
Well, Patterson, I spoke with the attorney about that, and he's got this letter here. I'm sure we're gonna report on it.
We'll be sending a follow-up letter right out and, see what we get from that.
Yeah.
Mike, were the repairs made down on Main Street at that fire?
I sent them a letter, I haven't heard back from them yet, there's been issues between them and the tenant. Now I see garbage is accumulating there, so that's another issue that I gotta call her on.
Looks from your letter, there's a great deal of repair that has to be made there before occupancy can be.
No, I couldn't stop them from re-entering the building because that portion, that's two separate buildings. So nothing happened to that building. It would have been a court case apparently if I'd have kept them out of it. So I went through, did the inspections with them, and I noted everything that needed to be done. They're supposed to be going through and rectifying these problems. They did do some, but it's not all done yet. And at the end of the day, they need to have well, it's not it's an operating permit for that, because there's 5 or more apartments in there. So they do have to comply at some point in time here. So it's a matter of just following up with them.
Okay, thanks, Mickey. Now the mayor's report. I can look through all this, there's plenty here.
Bing just raised his hand.
Whoop.
Just for curiosity, what's the situation with the old locker plant? As far as,
That's the Pantheon building that Mickey was talking about. That's what we're calling it.
what do you call it now?
I call it the meat locker too,
Yeah.
because that's from my era, but everybody else calls it the Pantheon building.
Pamphilon? Or the vestment
The
people?
vestment, yeah.
They still own that?
No,
Guy from Malone, isn't it?
3
no,
times
the
sold.
gentleman from Lake Placid that owned it, but he recently sold it here, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the new people that bought it, they have ideas of what they would like to do with it, but nothing formally yet. But they do, at least securing the building from the pigeons
Yeah, I
and
was by
hanging
there
doors.
a couple of nights ago. There's still a lot of windows
Yeah.
out. The doors questionable about whether somebody could just walk
One's
in.
hanging by one hanger there in the front.
Yeah. He's supposed to be taking care of all that stuff, so I'm gonna keep on him.
Very good. Okay, the Great Chazy River Memorial Post 1418 will be conducting their annual Buddy Poppy Drive the week of 11 through 17 of May. I think we appreciate everyone's support. So the water system contamination that occurred last month was determined to be a cross-contamination issue at the chlorine supplier, according to the Sheriff's Department report. The town was granted a very small system waiver from Clinton County Health Department, which allows them to have less stringent testing than what the village does. We have an offer, and I think we need to look at this. Probably won't act on it at this meeting, but an offer to enter an agreement with the town of Chazy to provide water at no cost in the event of an emergency. It'd be a mutual thing. I guess they're gonna be talking with Rouse's Point also to see if we would all share that service in the case of an emergency. We need time to review that. There will be a rabies clinic for dogs, cats, and ferrets. And it will be held April 9th, 6 to 8:30 p.m. at the Morris Fire Station. We do not have this in writing yet, but it appears that Northeastern Central School District has refused our request for the elementary school playground. We gratefully regret that. The village residents donated the equipment and installed it, but apparently they are at this time not interested in donating that to the village. Okay. The only other thing I had, we had a wastewater line break, and since Larry and Jimmy are here today, I want to compliment them on the professional manner in which they handled that. They did a great job. They gave up their Sunday to do that, and I want to thank you, Larry and Jimmy, for the good job you did.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I have the trustee reports. Trustee Kim Champlain.
I attended the zoning board meeting on March 12th. They had a couple of items. They were approved by the zoning board. And also the email that Ian had forwarded on One Work Source regarding the summer programs that they had. I called there today and got a little more information. They have actually 2 different programs. They have a 6-week summer program that is for youths 14 to 18 years old. These would be kids from our local area. $7.15 an hour, 30 hours per week, starting July 7th through August 15th, if we were interested in that. And then they also have another program for young adults 17 to 21 years of age who are out of school but working on their GEDs. So they're actively pursuing their education. They carry the workers' comp and everything on these people that would work here, so there's no liability on the village. On that particular program, they have 2 people that are in this area. One I think is right in the village, and one is like from Shazy. So we do have some information on that for the summer program. I think the second one is something that could probably get started sooner than the first. The one for the high school students doesn't start until July 7th. So if we're looking at starting things in June, you know, that might be if you wanted to do one from one program or one from another, but, so anyway, there's some information on that.
Yeah, it looks like it might be a combination of the 2.
Yeah, we could at least get some stuff started in June, as soon as school gets out. And then the other one, the older age group would be whatever we decided to pay them.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Kim?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Trustee Garrett Martin?
Just a shared services meeting on March 26th. And I'm sure somewhere's along the meeting here, I guess under new business, Tom and I will be coming asking for money for the startup funds for this. But we are at a point now where we can start with looking for engineers and taking a couple step forwards here with the request for proposals. Tom has done a wonderful job here checking out our responsibilities and what we need to do here as the village for our part of this. And we're going to hit Ian up for a lot of information that he can provide for us at a much easier and a much quicker rate so that we can get all this to Fred and we can get this process started. That's all I have.
Thanks, Greg. Trustee Trombley?
Same thing to report on the shared services meeting that I attended, Greg, and as he said, we've got a list of items we need to prepare. And we're going to be everything else we talked about after the meeting. Should be able to get more information for us.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Trustee Amy Gary?
I have nothing to say.
Okay, thanks. We'll have the report from the clerk treasurer.
Everyone's been copied with the expense revenue report for March. We also have one purchase request for liquid polymer for 2 drums, $1,535, come out of G 8130.4 for the sewer plant. We've had a water and sewer billing. Water has been billed in an amount of $56,525.30. And the sewer was $83,124.51.
Okay, thanks, Juanita. Okay, at this time I would entertain a motion to pay the purchase order for 2 drums of liquid polymer at $15.35.
Make a motion.
You have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Not. Trustee Trombley?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Trombley?
Aye.
Trustee Garrett?
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye. Okay, at this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the, unaudited vouchers.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion? If there's no discussion, trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye. Okay, well, now the report of the superintendent.
Yeah, first I'd like to say to Larry and Jimmy, thank you for this weekend. You guys stepped up, stood out there on Sunday. It was a gorgeous day, so you were lucky for that. Good job there. Jimmy also, Jimmy's been working down in the wastewater plant with Woody in regards to the belt press. Woody's doing his regular daily maintenance, and Jimmy's kind of really pulling it all together. I haven't had a chance to get down there to help him, but so he's really doing well and helping us all move forward with that. So thank you, Jimmy. Kim, you kind of stole my thunder on the one work source thing, but that's fine. I'm glad you got it out there. I think it's a good program, and we'll all work towards getting that working. I know your yard's a little messed up. There's quite a few, and I was probably the culprit that did that with that snow blower in the winter. So as soon as we get this workforce coming in, and we can get a lot of our topsoil that we have in the stockpile, where it's not so muddy and we can start moving around, we're going to start working on spring cleanup. So that's our next big focus, is to do the sidewalks and clean them all up. They're pretty bad. I had a few calls earlier last week regarding asphalt potholes. It's a huge problem. Pine Street, I think, gets worse by the day. We're real tight towards the end of the year on our street monies to buy cold patch and stuff like that. It's pretty expensive. I still don't have the results for how much asphalt's going to be this summer. Well, I haven't checked my emails today, but so I'd like to ask the residents to please be patient with us in regards to a lot of the major potholes. We're going to try to fix as much as we can, but we can't fix them all until we get numbers to find out how much it's going to cost. And as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, maybe we can squeeze some money out and get a little hot mix to start patching some of this. And when we come into the new fiscal year, we'll have the new monies for the asphalt and road repairs and stuff like that to really address some of the major concerns. It's a big major concern. And striping, I did all the paperwork and everything like that to get the striping done in the streets. So that'll be a good thing for the stop signs, crosswalks, and things of that nature. One last thing, the river looks great. It really came around that bend. It worked. So I'm happy with that. Truly all I got.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to echo your comment. This has probably been the most brutal winter I've seen on the roads in quite some time. Everywhere I go, there's potholes, and not just in the village of Champlain, but also in other communities. It's that freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing really worked everything out. I can't believe how fast Pine Street deteriorated to what it did.
It's incredible.
The only good thing it's done out of that is it's like a massive speed bump, and the cars have really slowed down. I've got a couple of hubcaps I found so far.
That's not my intent.
Okay, thanks, Ian. Appreciate it.
Have you come up with we need to come up with a couple of days for the spring cleanup here, so that we can get the word out to the village residents that, we will be around to pick up some of the debris.
I haven't looked at my calendar regarding that, but I will get back with you on that.
Just so we can come up with a couple of days that we can get.
And also we had discussed last year, the guys wanted the diameter of the pickup reduced, but I think the diameter was a little extreme reduction, so I would like to be able to discuss that as to what the requirements or what we will pick up and what we won't pick up.
Right. The reason why we throttle back on that and diameter, and the 3-inch diameter is pretty heavy. Well, we got to get rid of the debris, and as we know, the costs are going up. So we have a place to get rid of it now, but the bigger the stuff, it's harder to get rid of. As far as either through composting or chipping and stuff like that. So hopefully, If we do stay, and this is a decision that you folks will have to make, if we stay with the smaller diameter, it'll be easier to dispose of the brush.
Yeah, but you wanted to reduce it to what?
From 3 to 1.
I mean, 1 inch, that's ridiculous.
It
It's
was-
absurd.
It was
It's
4
no
it
yard
was 4
pickup
inch.
whatsoever.
It was 4 inches, and it's all right to have one that's that big once in a while, but we get to some houses and we have 6 truckloads of brush where people clean out their whole backyard. I mean, it's to help people out pick up the yard debris and their lawn clippings and stuff, you know. I rake my hands through bags with antifreeze jugs, oil filters, and dog crap, you know, and I shouldn't have to do that.
I'd leave it there. I wouldn't pick it
So
up.
that's why they have to be clear bags,
What you do,
You don't know it.
and
until get it.
if there's paper in the bag,
clear bags.
it stays. I mean,
No, that's understandable. But
No,
I'm just
I-
talking, you know, I mean, you're talking 1 inch, that limits a lot of,
We can address that, Amy. The one thing I really wanna make sure that we do is get this done, at least a couple of these pickups sometime in May before the bazaar happens, so
Yes.
we need to probably get that done between meetings to schedule those. So, I don't think we'll be able to wait till the second one. And that's a good point, Amy. We definitely need to come to some resolution there. Okay. We now have correspondence.
Oh, it's actually 7 o'clock.
Oops, you're right, I'm sorry. We will shift gears. I'll do that again after too for the organizational meeting. Do that again. We now call our regular meeting to recess and go into the budget hearing process, so I'll now open the hearing to the floor. Somebody must have some comments somewhere.
I was gonna let other people go. I'm Ken Gallifranch, 29 Cedar Street in Champlain. I have not seen the actual budget that the village has prepared. I've only read what's in the newspaper. So, but irrespective of whether the newspaper is true or not, the sentiments that I would offer for the budget would remain the same as when I was a trustee a decade ago, which is that the employees that make their living here certainly should get year-end increases, even though our year-end, the fiscal year is not December. And for the trustees, the board members, I've always held the position that even though the village has pretty much, I think, universally been one of the lowest compensated positions for the executive or the legislative group, I prefer to see there be, no increase. And it's a small amount that I read in the newspaper, 3% for everyone that pans out. But I think that those funds could be better used towards paving Pine Street or a portion of it or whatnot. So that's just my personal preference, and that's the way I'd like to see things. So whether or not the budget actually reflects that or not, I don't know, because I haven't seen it. I only read the report, but my sentiments would remain in place for any budget, I suppose. So that's it.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Just to remind you that the tentative budget, once the tentative budget is in place, copies are available here at the village office. So if anybody wants to look at it, it's there. And it's like that with any municipality. After the tentative budget is in place, it's on file and it's available for anyone who wants to see it, or wants to get copies. So, okay, are there any other comments on the budget? Okay.
Still the same guy that's talked to the other one. In the paper it said something about a fuel oil fired gas heater. I'm assuming you people are talking about having both, one to back up the other?
No, not at all.
But I don't know.
We have two ancient modine heaters in the back, and they're not efficient, and they run on fuel oil. We have gas hookup right here on the side of the garage. It's in the building right now. So we are in the process of switching that over to gas to save a little bit of money. But fuel, as we all know, has gotten pricey.
I didn't know whether you're going through a combination. If one broke down, you'd use the other.
No, the gas is a much better.
Well, it said fuel oil, gas-fired, fuel oil,
Yeah, the guy
something,
got,
gas heater.
yeah, the guy got confused.
And I said, I called Gas and Electric and I asked them if there was a new one out, and they said no.
No.
We're the guinea pigs, we're gonna try it out this year.
You think you're gonna recoup that in 2 years?
Easy. Well, for two reasons. One, that the heaters that are in there are incredibly inefficient. They must be, like, Larry, were those here when you got here?
No, they're about 17 years old.
17 years. I know I replaced my boiler a couple of years ago and there was a big difference. And that was probably about, well, it was even a little older than that. But there is a cost saving to realize there, plus the cheaper fuel. It should, they aren't that expensive. Ian, I can't remember the exact price, but
For the two units was $1,900 for 2 units. The reason we got different units and larger units, just to back you up, Jeff, is we had a whole heat index done here. They came in and they measured and measured the whole 9 yards, and there's a formula that down at Hulbert's they figured it all out, how much heat we need for natural gas, fuel oil, kerosene, whatever it is. So they come up with this heat index number. We told them locations that we could get gas to, and then based on that information, it formulates out to what BTU heaters you need. In retrospect, what we have, not only are they old and outdated and they're inefficient, they're not the right size. So to heat the shop that we have, that volume of square footage, cubic feet of air, they had to even work even more to keep it up to a 60-degree temperature. So we were burning essentially more fuel because the heater wasn't the right size.
Are you gonna be able to go under that $500 that NICEC is offering?
we're going to
But
look
you've
into
got,
that.
you've got gas in here already, right?
Yeah, they
Right.
won't fall in that $500. That's
Oh.
for new customers. Where's the status of of that in the budget? I mean, has it been priced out already for the new heaters and stuff?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was budgeted into the
It's already
fiscal
in.
year,
We
yeah.
put that in there. We're trying to do some things. It does cost some money to save money. I mean, we could stay with the old heaters and burn more fuel, but over the long run, that's gonna cost us a lot more money. So we're trying to look at things like that can save a little energy. Energy has gotten so expensive that anything we can do to improve our position there would really help us in the long run for the future years. You know, unfortunately, you have to spend some money, just like what I did to get a new boiler, but in the long run, you're way ahead. You know, I'm burning probably 200 gallons less fuel a year with the more efficient boiler, so it does pay for itself in a relatively short period of time.
But we do need them installed. So I'll need quotes for that.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. Price it, sure.
Do you have any additional comments? Questions? Don't get her started, Vic.
She don't-
She's gonna talk
she
about
don't-
Pine Street.
she don't dare talk. She told me to shut up when I walked in.
That didn't work too well.
No.
We'll hear about it after.
Okay, if there's no further is there any further comment? Okay, if there's no further comment, I'll close the budget hearing. At this time, I guess we could do a motion to approve the budget as written. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion to approve the budget as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any discussion? We spent enough hours on it, right? Okay.
We discussed all that.
All right, trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Gary,
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye. Okay. We can now proceed with the regular meeting again. We have correspondence.
Correspondence from Gregory Denon regarding property at 93 Church Street. Letter to Kell Properties from Mike Tatro, Codes Officer, regarding property at 1163 and 1165 Route 9. Correspondence from Peter Turner, Superintendent of NCCS, regarding water expense during village water emergency. Letter to Attorney Marshall from Codes Officer Tatro regarding zoning interpretation. Correspondence from NYSEC, or from New York State DC regarding annual wastewater treatment plant inspection. Correspondence from Clinton County Highway Department regarding road striping. Letter to Peter Turner, Superintendent of NCCS, regarding annexation of the school into the village. Correspondence from Scott Spiegel, Supervisor for the town of Shazy, regarding supplying water in an emergency. Letter to Julie Castine, Town of Champlain Clerk, with final paperwork to file relative to NCCS annexation. Correspondence from O'Connell or Arnowitz regarding the Town of Champlain opposing annexation of NCCS. Correspondence from the Great Shazy River VFW Post 1418 requesting permission to sell poppies from May 11th through the 17th of 2008. Correspondence from Town of Champlain Republican Committee regarding Ladies' Night Dinner guests, Senator Betty Little, Assemblyman Janet Dupree, and Assemblywoman Teresa Sayward. Correspondence from the Clinton County Highway Department regarding passing a resolution for shared services with the Clinton County Highway Department. Correspondence from Town of Eatontown regarding shared services contract. Correspondence from Clinton County Health Department regarding Stage 2 DBPR Very Small Systems waiver for the Town of Champlain Water District. Correspondence from Clinton County Sheriff's Department regarding water incident in the village on February 12, 2008. Correspondence from New York State Rural Water Association thanking the village for their support and a 20-year member certificate. Correspondence from Champlain Memorial Library thanking the village crew for their help during the winter months. Correspondence from Celine Paquette thanking the village for their loyalty over the years at Paquette's Insurance. Correspondence from the town of Morris regarding the summer swimming program. Correspondence from Earth Science Engineering regarding proposed plan to install raw water sampling port at water treatment plant. Correspondence from Wayne Gould requesting a sewer credit on his water and sewer bill for April 1st, 2008 and backup paperwork. Letter to Terry Lincourt regarding the status under Section 71 Civil Service Law. Correspondence from the Shared Services Committee requesting $5,000 from the village for payment of current invoices. Letter of appreciation from the Clinton County Highway Department thanking Superintendent Fassing, Larry Sorrell, and Jimmy Andres for assisting them with the sewer system problem at the Plattsburgh Garage. Correspondence from One Work Source regarding summer employment program.
Okay, thank you, Lonnie.
Drink the water.
Okay, I don't have anything under old business. Does anyone else have any old business that we need to bring up? That will proceed to new business. Actually, there's several items that I would like to table until next meeting. I'll deal with them one at a time. The first one is the resolution, the Clinton County Highway Department. They have a shared service agreement with all the towns and villages in Clinton County to help each other out whenever possible. We're definitely behind that, but I think we need to draw something up. Donna had called me this afternoon. We had looked at Keysville's agreement. It was rather complex. Clinton County gave us one that looked a little simpler and more straightforward. But in any event, I think we need to draw something up, probably along the lines of what Clinton County suggested, and have it reviewed by the village attorney. So I would entertain a motion to table that till next meeting, till we have a chance to have that written up and reviewed.
Make a motion.
You have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. This is another item I guess I would like to table till next meeting because we don't have complete information on this. We were requested to split the funding for summer swim program, moving it to Shazy, because they're doing work at the pool here. Morris has written us saying that they were not going to be included. I'm not sure what the town or the village of Ross's Point is going to do. I think we need to touch base with them to see what their feelings are on it, because we obviously can't afford to pay the whole funding ourselves, plus we are unclear on the exact cost of this. So, like I said, I would think we should probably table this till next meeting. Somebody make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to table it.
Second?
Didn't we have all those figures last
No,
month?
we do not. We have the figure for the rental of the pool, we do
Right.
not have the bus.
And then the
figures.
busing obviously would be more on top of that.
Yes, and if we're the only ones, or there's only two of us left, I don't know, we would have to consider how much we are willing to spend there. So until we get the full impact of this, I think we should delay acting on it. This is my opinion. We had a second, right? Okay, any further discussion? I guess it. Okay, then all in favor of tabling this till next meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye, the motion is carried to table. We have, I don't know your feelings on this, we have, the New York Rural Water Association has a conference May 19th through 22nd. I guess we're a 20-year member. They're going to be posting that, and I know we don't usually send somebody to this, but I was wondering if we should, seeing as how we're one of the honored groups at this meeting. We do not have to send, I think it's a 3-day conference. I don't know if we have to send somebody for the whole 3 days, or maybe for a day or whatever. Ian, do you have any comments? Well, wait a minute. Maybe we should have a motion first, and then we can get into discussion about it. Does anyone want to make a motion to send someone to this? Rural Water Association?
Yeah, I don't know much about it, but it sounds like something we should consider.
We can vote yea or nay after, we can have a discussion till after.
Yeah,
we get
we'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Ian, can you fill us in on this?
Yes. I was in that class today with Rural Water today. That was the foundation, the instructor and everything like that. And he was going over the summer training schedules, and that was a topic of discussion. I wasn't really aware of it until today. I was with Liz Tedford from the health department, and she elaborated on the whole thing. Basically what it is a collection of all of these vets, or these guys that have a lot of tenure down at this conference, and it's kind of like a trade show, but at the same time, because you got vendors that come in and teach us new techniques. One technique I asked about was running that PVC through sewer systems, and then you heat it with steam expansions and stuff like that. The nice thing about this trade show, for lack of a better term, is you actually get an on-hands training session that they will do demonstrations, actually to the point where you can run a backhoe. They'll have equipment there, all new types of equipment and stuff like that. So you get your contact hours, and you get an on-hands approach on how to do the conference along with vendors at the whole thing. So you get contact hours, you get a little bit of OJT, and you get to learn about new technologies and techniques that are out there. You get to apply that training right there at the venue. I think it's in Saratoga, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little bit down south. So I don't know much more than that regarding the whole
Has
thing.
anybody from the village ever attended one of these and know what they're about? Or
I
anything?
am not aware.
I've been to some in Lake Placid, but That was years ago.
And the cost associated with it?
I don't know that either. So pretty much all I know is what I did.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
it
we
on
have,
There's a website where you can reach out and collect
we have
this
that.
data.
I think the biggest expense would be the sending the people there,
Travel.
obviously.
It's on number 16 in the correspondence.
There should be a pamphlet someplace.
Yeah, it's on number 16 in the correspondence. Raising the bar of professionalism registration form, annual technical conference.
They're starting to put up a lot more training venues in our area. They haven't in the past. That's why it was so hard to get water class listed. In the computer class that I was in today, I got credit hours for. I didn't know I did until I got there, but they do offer credit hours for that towards your training, your license.
That's good.
So
It just
they're
$100.
it's an on-hand atmosphere. On computer.
That's in Saratoga, so we could.
Is it? I believe
Well,
it
I'm
is.
not let me check here, just to be sure.
I know you.
Hudson Valley Resort and
Valley.
Spa for Honkston, New York.
Where is that?
What's that?
For Honkston.
For Honkston.
Must be in Hudson Valley somewhere, must be past Albany.
Yeah.
Please make this form only to
Probably around
Claverack,
or something.
New York. Where Claverack is.
That's about an hour or so past Albany.
Well, I have the instructor's card, so I can research this out, find out what the cost would be down by Napa.
Well, it looks like your full registration is $100.
Per night stay, $13.40. Single occupancy.
Well, we have a couple options here. One we could, if we need to act on this, we have a special meeting sometime before May 2nd to deal with it, or we could act on it now. I guess it looks like you have to get your own lodging, it looks like. Usually they associate a hotel or something with this.
They do, the Hudson Valley Resort and Spa. For $213.40 includes the 3 meals daily, starting with dinner on the day of arrival.
We don't have any of that.
Through
Yeah.
lunch on the day of departure.
Yep.
Tax and gratuities are included.
Well, that's why I can
I didn't see it.
Well, that'd cover your meals and
So if just one person going is $213.40 a night. If 2 people go for double occupancy, sharing a room, it's $158.40 per person per night. And if you need additional meal tickets, that's additional.
well, Jimmy can
You could pack something.
It's not open to public comment, Ken. Sir.
You have your chance.
They have the whole itinerary here. Do you want me to copy it and we can look at it and then?
You want to do that? We can act later if you want, so we don't
That's
have
fine.
all the information.
I'd rather look at it and act later, except for the
Okay,
money.
so, I guess if you want, Kim, you made the motion, right?
Yeah.
Who had made the motion?
Tom
I did.
did the
Hey,
first
Tom,
and
do you
Kim
want to
had the
withdraw your
second.
motion?
Yes.
Will you withdraw your second? Okay, I guess I would accept the motion to table that also then.
So,
Let me
Second.
give that to them.
They go.
Why don't we wait till the next meeting?
Oh,
We'll just table it.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion on that?
I'm sorry, who made the motion and second?
Tom made the motion
Okay,
to table,
same.
and Kim, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so, all in favor of tabling that, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let's table that one. Okay. This is something I'd like to, this is in Peru, so this won't require an overnight, but they're having an energy conservation workshop in Peru, April 22nd. I'd like to send a couple of people to that. It wouldn't involve anything other than, I think it's what, a $25 registration or something like
Right.
that.
And that's,
And, you know.
that's from rural water as well.
That contact number.
Is that from rural?
Yes, I believe there would be some there.
They have a phenomenal training, array of training this year.
Well, this energy conservation, I mean, I know there's something with grants, you can get
There is.
your system looked at, I really think we need to pursue that, to get somebody in here and see if we can't get some money for some energy improvements. I'm sure we have plenty of margin to improve.
The grant just finished up, and the town of Plattsburgh just got, because they got the grant money to do VFDs, variable frequency drives for the energy conservation. And they just got them in. They have an inspection soon. They got them mounted on the wall, and they have to be mounted on the wall and ready. They don't have the money to install the systems. They just got the grant money to buy the system. So they have them now being installed, mounted. So the money is out there. We just gotta wait our turn so when the grant money comes around again. I didn't know it existed.
6 contact numbers for this.
So, we have a motion to send 2 people to that? We have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried, we'll send 2 people to that. The shared services seed money, we put money aside in last year's budget for that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I believe.
Yes, we did.
And it's still there, Juanita?
Better be.
Okay, well then I guess at this point, I know Mickey, as he stated at the beginning of the meeting, they need this money to get started. We can't get reimbursed until the money is put up. So I would entertain a motion that we put this money, send this money to the shared services group.
I make a motion.
Second.
Second. We can move it back. Second. Okay, is there any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Okay. Okay, sorry.
I was gonna holler aye from there.
If there is no discussion, trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Garrett,
Aye.
and here more aye. Okay, we'll get that started. After a year and a half.
Very good.
Very good. I'm very happy, and I hope that we get some good things out of that. The other thing I have is we have a request from Wayne Gooley for relief from his wastewater bill. I guess he had a leak. Donna did a sheet on that.
Yeah, you did.
Number 21.
Yeah.
You got it.
That's
Huge.
Sorry.
That's leaks. That's the leak. Exactly.
Yeah, listed them.
You know, obviously that's paid for the water, but the wastewater obviously didn't go down, so.
I make a motion to grant the credit to Mr. Goulart.
We need now to $295.
$295.40. What was it?
95.40.
$295.40.
Okay, and do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Kim. Is there any discussion? If not, trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Garrett,
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye. I do not have any further new business, but does anyone else have any new business before we swing into the organization and activity?
Good replacement.
Oh, I should have done that during the,
Go ahead.
yeah, 'cause it's, yeah, just, one other comment, I guess we have all agreed that we're gonna, identify another person, for the public works. I think we should advertise now and, proceed with whatever interviewing or whatever process we need to do to finish it up. I don't think we need a motion, we've already made a motion to advertise for it.
What are we advertising for, though? What are we calling this position?
That's a good question.
So we heard back
That
from
makes
civil
a
service
difference.
on the job description.
We have to write a job description, so do we want a job description culminating,
Well-
backup wastewater and MEO?
Well, I think the first thing we could probably advertise for a public works employee and, which could involve water, wastewater, no, we can't,
I don't believe so.
No.
okay?
You have to be very.
If you're working
Well-
at a class, you have to be very specific.
Okay, well, and we need to talk with Larry about the union's position on that or whatever. So,
Got a cold.
okay, well, we'll
Stay home.
proceed with that then, and as quickly as possible. We need to proceed with that, okay? Yeah, I think we've already put everything in motion that we need to. We have to get the details
We'll
all
find
put
it.
together with Amy and Kim and make sure we're on base with that. And Larry, maybe we could all get together some evening and look it over, sometime soon.
I'll keep you in touch.
Okay. I think that was what we had for new business. Anyone else have any new business?
Jeff, I know we give Mr. Gooley a credit for water,
Yes.
but you might wanna let the people know that it's a one-time credit.
Oh.
And you know, it's not
Yes.
every time they have a leak or something. So if they use 10,000 gallons and they get a credit for it and they have 100,000 gallons a year down the road, they use their one-time credit.
Right, and yeah, I just wanted to, should make that point, and that's really to prevent somebody from, if you have a small leak, you're best off to just let it go. Obviously, if you run up a $1,000 wastewater bill, you may want to use your one-time deal then, but yes, you're a good point. It is a one-time deal, so people need to be aware of that. Okay, well, we'll now move to the organizational portion of the meeting. Or we have to just want to go to, you know?
Yeah, it's two separate meetings.
Okay,
I would
well,
say
we will
yes.
do that then. I would entertain a motion to adjourn the
So
regular
moved.
meeting. We have a second? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Regular meeting is adjourned. I guess it will open the organizational meeting. I guess we don't need to do a salute.
The first thing that needs to be done though is Juanita needs to give oath of office to Tom and Amy.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that.
Basically.
Tell them that.
Want to swear him in?
Yeah, I'll swear him in.
Not swear at him.
What's the mellow
Swear him
one?
in.
What's the mellow one?
Yeah, you're right.
Not working.
Yes, I'm a lot more than I used to be.
Are you?
Yes.
What's that, hair?
Yeah. One, two.
What are you talking
I heard he was working up Sunny Hill.
It's not good, I can tell.
Was it? What's he
The
doing?
table system.
Up in Stone? He still got hers?
He's got 4 or 5.
Yeah? You pulling?
I don't know if he's going to receive it.
I haven't seen him in a long, not leaving now.
No.
Just getting good.
Just wondering, that thing that you got on there in the street, I wonder if you do, like Kaplan, like in there, and maybe bring it down. And maybe do the
I
head.
wish we had everything. Your mom and everything, it'll go all the time.
I don't know if the chainsaw in there, but I got some real good dirt trimmer. Here's a couple guys doing it, and then doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's what you're now up for.
Really? I didn't know you were sick. Huh?
You can, sure. You can do it at the same time and then just sign the book. Just say, Juanita normally reads it and
Out
then
of
we'll
order
say
for a
your
minute?
names.
Okay.
State of New York, County of Clinton, Village of Champlain, I, Amy Garrett, Town Trumbull, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee from April April 1st? Or May 1st? May 1st, 2008 to April 8th, 2009.
I do, I will, I am.
I swear.
She swears.
That too.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you.
Anything without washing my hands.
The next order is mayor's appointments, and I will have Juanita read those.
Do you think you took the red pen because of the red
It was moved by Mayor Moore that the following village officers be appointed. David Marshall be and is hereby appointed village attorney for a term of 1 year expiring April 6, 2009, at the retainer set by the annual budget and appropriation. Juanita Munoz be and is hereby appointed clerk treasurer for a term of 1 year expiring on April 6, 2009, at the salary set by annual budget appropriation. Donna Barcombe be and is hereby appointed deputy clerk for the village of Champlain for a term of 1 year expiring on April 6, 2009, at the salary set by the annual budget appropriation. Ian Faston be and is hereby appointed superintendent of public works for a term of 1 year expiring April 6, 2009, at the salary set by annual budget appropriation. Mike Tatro be and is hereby appointed fire building codes and zoning enforcement officer for a term of 1 year expiring April 6, 2009, at the salary set by annual budget appropriation. Juanita Munoz be and is hereby appointed records access manager for a term of 1 year expiring April 6, 2009, at no salary.
Why don't you read?
John Donaldson be and is hereby appointed to the planning board for a term of 5 years expiring April 8, 2013, at no salary.
Okay, and the other planning board member, we have a couple of possibilities, but I don't have an answer from them yet, so we can't do that now.
Normally you would need a second for
Okay.
those now.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Juanita?
Okay. The mayoral committee appointments and designations. Deputy Mayor Amy Garrett, Water and Sewer Commissioner Greg Martin, Deputy Commissioner Tom Trombley. Street Commissioner Kim Trombley, Deputy Commissioner Greg Martin. Equipment Tool Commissioner Greg Martin, Deputy Commissioner Amy Garrett. Building Property Commissioner Kim Trombley, Deputy Commissioner Greg Martin. Parks Recreation Commissioner Amy Garrett, Deputy Commissioner Tom Trombley. Personnel Commissioner Amy Garrett, Deputy Commissioner Kim Trombley. Harassment Committee Member Greg Martin, Harassment Committee Member Kim Trombley. Shared Services Commission Commissioner Greg Martin, Deputy Commissioner Tom Trombley. Insurance Commissioner Greg Martin. Planning Board Liaison Tom Trombley. Zoning Board Liaison Kim Trombley. Champlain Fire District Liaison Tom Trombley. Chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Vice Chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals, oh no, wait a minute, Vice Chairman, we don't have a Vice Chairman. Chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals is Clark Purdick. Chairperson of the Planning Board, John Zerwa,
Slow down, slow down.
Chairperson of the Planning Board, John Dawson. Vice Chairman of the Planning Board, Janet McFetrich. Budget Officer, Jeff Moore. Recreations Committee, Amy Garrett. Town of Champlain Industrial Development Agency, Jeff Moore and Tom Trombley.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Appointments are carried. Anita? We have to, okay, go ahead and read it, then we'll have a...
Marie Dupie and Geraldine Hayes be and are hereby appointed inspectors of election for a term of 1 year expiring April 6, 2009 at the salary set by annual budget appropriations with Marie Dupie as chairperson. Richard Filia be and is hereby appointed village historian for a term of 1 year expiring April 6, 2009 at no salary. Tamara Kelsey, be and is hereby appointed Village of Champlain Youth Commissioner for a term of 1 year expiring April 6, 2009, as salary set by annual budget appropriation. Barbara Jarvis, be and is hereby appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term of 5 years expiring April 8, 2013, at no salary.
Okay, do we have a motion for the board appointments?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Board appointments are accepted. Now have board designations.
The second Monday night of each month be and is hereby designated as the official meeting night of the village board during the term April 7, 2008 through April 6, 2009, and the time be at 6:30 at the village office, 1104 Route 9, Main Street, Champlain, New York. Further, a copy of said resolution be forwarded to the news media and others having an interest in said meeting and requesting copies thereof hereby officially notifying the public as required by law and meeting the obligations of the Freedom of Information Act. Also, that said meeting dates be posted in one conspicuous place in the village as required by law.
Okay, we need a motion.
Make a motion.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Anita?
That the second Wednesday night of each month be and is hereby designated as the official meeting night for the Zoning Board of Appeals during the year April 7, 2008 through April 6, 2009, and the time be at 6 o'clock at the village office, 1104 Route 9, Champlain, New York. Also, that said meeting dates be posted in one conspicuous place at the village as required by law.
Okay, you got a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried.
That TD Bank North Shazy Branch Office, Key Bank of New York, NA, Champlain Branch Office, Chase Manhattan Bank, New York, New York, Key Trust Company, Albany, New York, USDA Rural Development, Ithaca, New York, and Champlain National Bank, Champlain Branch Office, be and are hereby designated the official bank depositories of village funds during the year April 7, 2008 through April 6, 2009.
Moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried.
Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Champlain has determined to authorize payment in advance of audit of claims for public utility services, postage, freight, and express charges, and whereas all such claims shall be presented at the next regular meeting of audit, and whereas the claimant and officer incurring or approving the same shall be jointly and severely liable for any amount disallowed by the Board of Trustees. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize payment in advance of audit of claims for public utility services, postage, freight, and express charges, and all such claims shall be presented at the next regular meeting for audit, and the claimant and officer incurring or approving the same shall be jointly and severely liable for any amount disallowed by the Board of Trustees. This resolution shall take immediate effect immediately.
Do you have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried.
Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Champlain has determined to pay a fixed rate for mileage as reimbursement to officers and employees of the village who use their personal automobiles while performing their official duties on behalf of the village. Now hereby be resolved that the Board of Trustees shall approve reimbursement to such officers and employees at the rate of .48 cents per mile. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried.
That the Press Republican, Plattsburgh, New York, being as hereby designated the official newspaper of the Village of Champlain during the year April 7, 2008 through April 6, 2009.
Is there a
So
motion? Second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried.
That the village continue its participation in and with the joint projects of the Town of Champlain Youth Program and with the County of Clinton Comprehensive Youth Program as a member of said countywide youth organization.
Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried.
That the annual organizational meeting for organizing the board for the 2009-2010 official year and for the various appointments and committees be and is hereby scheduled for April 6, 2009 at 6:30 at the village office, 1104 Route 9, Main Street, Champlain, New York.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
The board next reviewed the investment policy, procurement policy, Teamsters Union contract, and rules and procedures for public meetings, and they were all accepted as submitted.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, motion is carried. I think,
Take motion to adjourn?
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
How many meetings we got? Reorganization.
Wait a minute, it's like,
Well, boy, I'm glad I
I asked if they knew
did this.
anybody, but it's free.
I thought it was here.
I know.